Sejam bem-vindos ao Deepcast. A gente está aqui no maior congresso de Deep Learning do planeta. Today we have Steven Levine, Jared Zabak, Eith Takemura. We're gonna talk not only surgery, but we'll talk about career, life, everything many young surgeons must know. So, Steven, that's great you be here, guy.
Olá, sou Drlessandromartins e seja bem-vindo ao nosso Deepcast 2024. Aqui você encontrará as principais discussões sobre cirurgias da face com alguns dos cirurgiões mais renomados do mundo. Inscreva-se em nosso canal e fique por dentro.
Thanks, buddy. I'm happy. Thanks for organizing it. I know you guys went to a lot of effort to get me here. I appreciate it. I didn't realize so many lawyers would be involved, but I'm grateful to be here, and thanks for making the effort, and I really appreciate it.
So, one time we had a small talk about career. I think you have the gold in your advice.
Oh.
Your advice about career is like big diamonds. So you can say to us what a young surgeon should seek in his career.
I mean, I want to start by saying I am definitely still figuring it out, and maybe that's part of it is I see so much confidence in our field, and you see around so much confidence, right? You see in a room of surgeons, you feel all this confidence, and I think
great confidence.
I'm just going to say confidence, but
okay,
yeah, fine, maybe overconfidence, and I think realizing that none of us really have it figured out is a big part of it. I am massively insecure about so many things, about my practice, about my results, about my personal life, and I'm trying to be happy as much as possible. I want to be happy myself. I want to make people around me happy. And those are my guiding principles. Not being the best is not one of my guiding principles. Being happy is one of my guiding principles.
Awesome.
So I feel like there's so much talk about being the best. I want the best technique. I want the best practice. I want the best car. I want
the best watch, the best clothes.
Yeah. But what about just things that make you happy? Because most of us, we were all of us, right? Every single person at this table sacrificed so much early on in our lives, right? We missed parties, we missed dating maybe, we missed fun times that other people had. We studied so much probably to get to where we are, and sometimes it's hard to get off the hamster wheel of constant need to be the best and to outperform. And if you didn't have that in you, you wouldn't be where you are. But if you never take a minute to stop, then maybe you lose the point of all of it.
Awesome.
So, but do you always have this kind of thinking, or there's something happen that you figure out how to think, like you switch it the way that you think?
Yeah, I definitely did not always have this kind of thinking, right? By definition, I had what everyone has. I had the more is better. One of the things I was most proud of, if you met me 10 years ago, was I slept 4 hours a night. I was so proud of that. I was so proud to tell you that my body only needs 4 hours. I'm a special person. I'm like these other plastic surgeons who are the best, who we don't need to sleep. It's just I'm genetically gifted. It turns out I only need 4. I go to sleep at 12:30 and I wake up at 4:30 and I'm ready to go. And it took a friend of mine embarrassing me at a dinner party to just say, basically, by the way, my friend's very successful. He's in finance. He's a hedge fund guy. He makes a lot of money. And he basically was like, I sleep 9 hours a night. I make more money than you do. Oh, well. You know what I mean? It was like, I sleep 9 hours a night. You know what I mean? It was like, oh, wait a second. And not that money is the only arbitrage, but it's like, I'm happier than you seem to be. What is this? Why? I thought, remember, if you're sitting around a table of plastic surgeons, the bragging is, you sleep 5 hours, I sleep 4 hours. And how about El Rodrigo? 3 hours. 2 hours. So I didn't sleep for 3 days. And we talk about it like it's something to be proud of. And in fact, it's shameful. It's shameful. I do not believe that there's a single human brain on the planet that would not do better with 7 or 8 hours of sleep than they do with 4. And when I realized that and I started to sleep more, I was like, oh my God, what else am I wrong about? And I did. The other one would be here's the thesis. The thesis is there are the things that fill your ego you want to find things that fill your ego that cannot be taken away from you, right? So I'll give two classic examples, one for men, one for women. And I don't mean to gender base them, but classic examples. For women, a woman whose ego is primarily filled by her beauty is doomed for failure, right? Because there's almost 100% chance that the beauty will fade.
Yeah.
A man who is fueled by their success at their job, doomed for failure, because there's almost 100% chance that you won't continue to be the best at your job or great at your job I don't care if you're a baseball player, if you're a stock trader, or if you're a plastic surgeon. Unfortunately, you have a sweet spot of which you will do great, and then eventually that will fade. But if you are a skier, if you're a stamp collector, if you like to walk, I don't care, pick the hobby, but something that you do for yourself. If you don't invest in that during the time that you're also investing in building your career, you're making a big mistake.
Dr. Levine, there's something really interesting that we found with you and when you were practicing, and it's how much efficiency you have. I have a couple of questions about that, but first I would like to know if there was something that you would change throughout your practice, or if there was something that you would have changed before you started your own practice. Would you have changed something about that? That's first. And second of all, when does a surgeon stop? Like, I see a lot of surgeons, and I really look forward to becoming like one of these surgeons. And I don't think it's money anymore. I think it's something more than that. It's like they want to do more surgeries. They don't want to stop. They don't want to stop. Like, where is the ending point? You see, like, people, I'm sure a lot of surgeons are set off for life now, for generations, and their kids, but they keep on going. They're like 65, 70 years old, and they still don't want to do surgery. So where is the end?
Yeah, it's a great question. So the first thing was there something I would do different? I mean, there's so many things that have been great for me. I would say maybe one of the more important things I've done in the last couple of years that I didn't do before was start therapy. I think having a therapist is a really important thing. I think going back to what I said earlier about all of our drives, I don't think you can have the drive that all of us have and not get a little fucked up along the way. And if you don't spend some time working on yourself, or if you're married, or if you have a girlfriend or a boyfriend and you want to do couples therapy, if you don't spend time, if you can go to the gym, a couple times a week, or you could go to meetings because you want to get better at surgery, why would you not want to get better at life? Why would you not want to get better at the way you process information and the way you interact with others? So I would have started therapy a lot earlier, which is, by the way, a massive luxury. I get it, but if we're talking to other plastic surgeons, but yes, it's expensive and it takes a lot of time. So I don't mean to sound like, it'd be like sounding, well, you should fly private all the time. Like, no, I get it. These are things that cost a lot of money and they take a lot of time. But so I'd say start therapy one. And yeah, as far as being efficient, I will admit, efficiency for me is it's like making things pretty. I love efficiency. I just do. I don't think efficiency is good. I don't think it's bad. I personally love it. It's something I really, really enjoy. So I am constantly gaming my practice to be as efficient as possible because it's my baby and I enjoy the idea of making something efficient. I don't think it's something to be admired, to be honest, meaning like if you also like that, then I'm good at it, then that's worth admiring, I suppose. But I don't think that the general plastic surgeon should look at me and be like, oh, I want to be more like him. I'm like, what happens when I get more efficient? By the way, by definition, what happens? You two were there when you watched me build a second operating room. What happens? So I became massively efficient because I have 2 operating rooms, which means what? You extract more work from the engine. Who's the engine? You. Me. So all I did was create this system by which I can get 140% production from this one person, which I personally enjoyed. So I'm not complaining, but be careful of like efficiency. Like to see
more efficiency.
Yeah, keep your eye on the prize, which is happiness. I am proud to say I translated my efficiency into. I took 11 weeks off last year. I saw 55 days away from my practice. That is where my efficiency got spent. It was I took that extra the revenue generated from being efficient. I used to offset my time away from my office.
Nice. And what about the endpoint, about the surgeons? When do they stop?
I won't be so bold as to say, I mean, you stop, I guess, when it stops being fulfilling to you. But it goes back to what I said earlier. I suspect the person who finds more ego fulfillment outside of their self perception as a surgeon, we'll stop earlier, right? If you look in the mirror and all you see is surgeon, you don't see father, you don't see husband, you don't see best friend, you don't see hobbyist or enthusiast, kiteboarder, surfer, whatever, hiker, reader. If you don't see any of those things, then you're probably likely to continue until the day you die. I don't envy those people.
And this question is about your career as a surgeon, because I saw you in 2018. I saw that you become brilliant at that time, back there. But you developed your own way to do surgery, your own way to do application, your own way to trimming the skin. And I think that's great. And what were the checking points, the points that you started to change the way you doing surgery now?
Well, thanks for that compliment. I don't feel like I know I've made little incremental changes. I learned almost everything I know about facelifting from Dr. Baker, and even it's happened sometimes. Even if we had a rocky end, because sometimes that happens in that senior junior relationship, I'm still well aware that I owe him my career, and I am truly grateful. So I sort of think most of I learned from him, and yeah, I guess when you start doing anything long enough,
Your touch.
yes, yeah, I definitely give my touch, because how could you not? Because it gets boring just to do what someone else does. And the slight aesthetic changes, right? There are things that he did that, I think if he were still busy today, he would be taking the facelift higher, right? He would often create a little break between the cheek and the temple, and I've had to kind of try to figure that one out with a different incision. I think sometimes the vector application by definition is personal, right? You choose it. There is no one size fits all. So it is the way you do things. I think by the way, learning to work with a fellow, which I credit Jod and Aki with, has been it's been a big maturity point for me, because that was something I never had before. And now that I'm trying to learn how to work in a system with other people where I'm able to show them things and hopefully learn from them, and then also they're able to help make me more efficient. That's actually been in the end, I'm so grateful, Jod, that you forced me to do it, and that Aki, you were, an amazing continuation to it, and Mohammed now, because I think that I'd be getting bored. Like, I think adding a second smart person to talk to every day and be in the operating with, and by the way, the rest of my operating team is super smart, but it's nice to have somebody. They really are. They're the best at what they do, as far as I'm concerned.
That's Tana. Sure.
But to have another surgeon there with me, and then one who changes every year, it's sort of, it like adds a little bit of spice to it, so to speak.
Awesome.
I like that a lot.
So, but Dr. Levine, I wanted you to comment about, I think it's very interesting that you were always teaching us that you needed to visit all guys, but you needed to create your own aesthetic judgment. Don't just go to a conference, don't listen people say, oh, this is the best technique, but you need to, I think, first of all, create your own personal aesthetic judgment, and then you're gonna choose the technique that you think that you will get you there, and create. So I think I want you to comment. I think it's a very smart advice that I wanted to pursue all the time, that I see results even in conferences or colleagues to see. Did I like?
Yeah, that's well said. But I think that's right. The first question is, when someone is sharing something with you, does it appeal to you? Just because it's beautiful, do you look at the way they're operating and think, oh, I would like to do that? And if the answer is yes, if you like their results and you like the way they operate, then they may be a great mentor for you. But if it's no to one of those two things, you can still admire their success without wanting to emulate it. I think you find the people you want to emulate, and you then make a hodgepodge of all those people, and you ultimately do your own thing. That's the fun part of this.
Yeah.
Because did you visit a lot of doctors? How was the beginning of your career? Because I know, I don't know if everyone knows, but Dr. Levine, you did a fellowship in microsurgery, right? And I did. And maybe before plastic, you thought about being a pediatric surgeon,
right? Yeah.
And then you switched your career in many points.
No, it's true. So I did. I got to visit. I got to travel a lot in my first couple of years in practice. I wasn't that busy, and Dr. Baker opened a lot of doors for me because he was friends with all the senior surgeons, and they looked at me as somebody who had immediate entree into the senior surgery world because I was, Dr. Baker's associate. And that's one of those things I'm grateful for. I can't remember if it was any one particular thing. I mean, most of it was Baker, to be honest, because he would sit there, he would make it clear to me Baker was a really good teacher by osmosis, right? He doesn't give you a lesson. He would never say, this is what I think. You always read between the lines. So he would talk to me all the time about beauty and aesthetics, and it got me thinking about, like, shoot, I really need to train my eye, right? It's the technical stuff is secondary.
And that's a word that you repeat in every single lecture that you give, aesthetic judgment.
That's it, right? So doesn't it make sense?
If any young plastic surgeon must hear an advice, improve your aesthetic judgment.
Yes, right. So I never understood. So I've heard it even amongst these amazing world-class speakers today. One of the lines that I've heard multiple times now is, "This is what patients want. This is what they're asking for. They want this. They want this." I don't want to be so cold as to say it doesn't matter what patients want, but I'll say this. I care about what I want more. Now, I don't put my aesthetic on a patient who doesn't want it. I make sure I convey my aesthetic to the patient and that they're on the same page that I'm on, and then they decide if ultimately I'm the right surgeon for them, if that makes sense.
Makes a lot of sense.
But at no point am I ever doing something that I don't want to do just because the patient asked for it. Does that make sense?
The patients should never choose the technique, the way you do surgery.
Right. It's what you wanted. I know the eyebrows look really high, but it's what you wanted. I'm not judging that, but I would never do that. We gotta go.
You're gonna have to go because Steve Levine is gonna give you another lecture for us. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you so much for having me, bud. Yankee, love you guys. Rodrigo, thanks so much. Love you too, buddy. Thank you. Thank you very much.
We're done.